Welcome to Wise Beyond Culture podcast. I'm your host, Diego.
And I'm your host, Sony.
Yes, c'est un plaisir. Et pour nous capables monter plateforme ça pour nous dialoguer ensemble.
Right. Welcome to episode 2
Yes.
of Wise Beyond Culture.
And if you haven't watched the first episode, I would advise you to go back and watch it, you know, because that's where we explain the idea, the focus of this podcast.
And what we hope to bring to you with this podcast. So go ahead and watch episode 1 and then come back and catch up with us with episode 2.
Yes, parce que dans podcast ça, dans episode 2, that's where we want to tell you guys who we are.
Who we are.
Yeah.
Right, who we are behind this project, right? Who we are. Well, let's start with saying who we are as individuals. I am a friend, a daughter, a mother, a counselor.
Yeah.
Right? Not pasta anything interior design. I like decorating. I like putting things together. Regardless how it looks. I would find a way to make it look good when it comes to interior design.
And
so I
she's
enjoy.
good. She's really good at it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I enjoy. I find myself doing, when I'm doing that putting pieces together, it's always beautiful. I love playing soccer. I love watching soccer. And I think that's one of the things we have in common because we watch and play.
We watch soccer together. So, and we used to play soccer together too.
Right. And we still do every now and then.
Yeah.
Right.
So, moi c'est your dad, husband. So, moi gen yon background music. Et puis, moi vraiment gade soccer. Moi jouer soccer too. So, that's my favorite game. Yeah.
Right.
To watch and play.
Watch and play. Right.
Yeah. That's where I find myself.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, that's who we are individually. Well, together we are a couple, right?
Yes.
A young couple. Well, let's start with how we met. It's a very interesting story, I'm sure.
C'est pour ça que nous venons aujourd'hui, pour nous capables de faire tirer aller, pour nous expliquer qui est-ce nous est et comment nous faire rencontrer, comment mystère ça fait commencer.
Right.
Yeah. Vous voulez commencer?
Yeah, on commence. Kijan fait rencontrer. Nous rencontrer dans un programme, right? Nous t'es allé dans même l'école. Un groupe qui nous fait partie de l'International Student Association l'école là. Et puis t'es un monde dans l'école là qui organise une fête.
Yeah.
Qui invite nous dans fête là, mais fête là.
C'était une fille tout le monde ça.
Yeah, on dame.
Yes.
From Taiwan. She was from Taiwan.
Yes.
Purpose fête là, c'était pour mettre différentes cultures, différents groupes ensemble.
And I hope she's watching this podcast too.
Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully she'll get to this. This episode will get to her.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she organized the party and she invited us.
Yeah.
And she invited people from different countries, Jamaica, Africa, different countries in Africa. It was a very, mixed party. Event, and in this event, like people from different cultures bring food and stuff, different dishes for us to try. And at this party, when I remember when I got there, she was like, hey, I have another Haitian, someone else from Haiti. I want you to meet.
Me. Yeah.
And she introduced me to you, right? And that's where we met. We started talking, right? And you were like, well, and I think we were the only 2 Haitians at the party.
Yes,
we were the only 2 Haitians at the time. So she introduced us, and then we started talking. One Kijan say, let the Haitian rencontrer. Usually the first question is, kote sòti Haiti?
Man, kote sòti.
Right.
Yeah. Ou manger maï moulé.
Right.
Manger du sauce pois légumes. Yeah. Et où qu'on côté ça, Delma, Pétionville, et qui m'a sorti? Et m'a sorti I'm sorti la plaine, et ou même.
Et ou même, famille, right? Especially when I do 2 different Haiti, right?
Yeah.
Ou essaie connecté avec Istwa la caille.
Après ça, il m'a demandé aussi haïtien parler créole.
On parle créole. I think that was, which is normal, right? Which is normal. Parce qu'en pile haïtien pas parler créole, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So en pile fois you want to set the tone of the meeting so you could know koto ka flow. Parce que créole, you know, en pile fois on rencontre moun la caille. It's la caille.
Et puis moi je dis comme ça. Dis un petit créole m'entendez. On va parler créole là, man. Ou madame côté me sorti Haïti et puis m'a parler créole, ou nous dit me parler créole encore. Comprends? Man, what is he funny, man? Anyway, let's get to the story.
Let's get to the story. Yeah, when we met, like, you know, like we said, the conversation was, where are you from in Haiti? Where are your family from? Combien de temps on gagne ici? You know, that's usually how the conversations started. So yeah, combien de temps on gagne ici? What do you do?
Yeah.
But funny thing is, na fête ça, na même groupe international students ça, l'école là, that's when groupe ça, c'est un groupe qui gagne ti moun nan presque qui dans l'école dans toute zone là. So that's when we figure out nous aller dans même l'école. We didn't know.
Oh yeah.
Parce que te gen trois différentes écoles dans zone là.
Yes, you're right.
But the international committee couvre tous les trois l'écoles yo.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time when you meet someone in a conversation you find out which school.
Yes.
We go to.
Yes.
So
c'est là ça nous vient vin connecter ensemble tout parce que nous venons dans la même école et puis nous venons chercher côté l'autre dans l'école là.
Right.
Et ce comprendre so nous venons et nous venons connecter plus.
Nous venons connecter plus to get to know each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So from there après nous faire connaissance. Et puis nous venons nous venons rencontrer outside of the international group. Now nous venons solo.
Right. They I think rencontrer.
Yes. Nous venons you know parler en téléphone tout et puis dialoguer.
Yeah, nous devons exchange numbers.
Nous venons exchange numbers.
And then donc on va à l'école là, nous venons parler.
Yeah.
But it was nothing on my end. I have to let you guys know. To me, it was just a Haitian that I met at school.
So, nous venons commencer à rencontrer le meaning. Pas ça?
Right.
Nous venons rencontrer le meaning parce que nous ne pouvons pas rencontrer un garçon avec une fille rencontrer ensemble et puis pour nous juste amis. Vous comprenez?
That was your idea.
Bon,
I was fine being just friend.
Yes. But mes amis, faut pas rencontrer une belle petite madame comme ça et puis pour regarder le danger. Vous comprenez? Faut faire petit parler, faut faire oreilles douces. Vous comprenez? So, c'est comme ça et nous venons.
Yeah, you invited me out.
Yes. Nous venons inviter pour aller en date et puis m'a songé premier date nous était allé son parc. Nous allé faire un petit marché et puis parce que ou tap travail et me tap travail tout et nous t'es obligé tant que et rencontrer après travail
after work
et after 5 right so qu'on est allé ça on commencer à partir notre tatou so c'est temps ça on te gagné
right yeah
so nous venons pour aller dans date et puis c'est comme ça venons you know
get to know each other
puis you know expliquer belle demoiselle là comment moi feel pour lui comprendre et puis demoiselle là commence à feel moi tout pas ça
that's
dis pas la janvier mon cher parce que si pas de feel moi ou pas parler dans deuxième date avec pas ça
I know, but you know, they get caprice too.
Yeah, I mean, c'est ça haïtien nous fait même. Comprendre c'est capricité. Comprendre so you aimez jouer. Quand tu joues tu comment et la go caché. Comprendre so sous son garçon haïtien on pas gain patience. Ou pas qu'à causer avec femme ça femme haïtienne parce que c'est qu'on y a bagay yo on ti j'avais puis facile man so longtemps faut qu'on capable et faire bail qui la acoustiche comprendre faut gain talent man faut son qui est galant
faire poésie
faut capable faire acoustiche avec nos femmes non Comprendre prendre nom et puis dire Sony, you know, pour prendre S là pour dire c'est soleil, la vie. Comprendre? So tout bagay ça yo. But kounya là, bah yo bien facile. So messieurs jeune bagay yon ti jan pi facile. So mesdames yo changé game nan. Et longtemps.
It wasn't like that.
It wasn't like that. Faut qu'on capable et montrer fils ça que ou son garçon qui galant.
Right, with words.
Qui galant et puis qui connaît parler. Vous comprenez?
Yeah.
Qui jeune gens.
Right.
Yeah. Ou pas de capable n'importe qui gens parce que fille hein, l'été qu'on a jugé ou sur différents aspects. Fille a regardé ou comment parler, comment marcher, comment comporter corps. Vous comprenez?
Right.
But qu'on a bagay changé.
Right. And ça tout qu'on cause it takes a little bit longer pour une relation for me because we spent a little bit more time getting to know each other.
Yes. So nous venons aller dans date pour comment on dit ça?
A few dates.
A few dates et puis n'a causé comprendre. So baga la vie comme de commencer venir patient tout parce que moi t'attends pour dire que OK, oui. Parce que longtemps faut que t'en oui parce que oui c'était clé porte là, c'est clé porte pour entrer. Depuis qu'il a dit oui, ça veut dire this is the key to my city.
Yeah, ou bon.
This is the key to my life. You know? So même qui t'a expliqué partie ça côté que nous t'allons dernier date.
Yes.
Date nous t'allé c'est pas moi qui t'ai invité on a dit ça.
Right.
Parce que moi fin fait tout travail pour me te faire. Parce que me get en causer, me fait tout pour tes fleurs. Vous comprenez? Moi fait tout ça pour me te faire. Vous comprenez? Et me commencer fatigué. Vous comprenez? Commencer sentir pas ka et courir dans reste encore. Reste trop long.
Right.
Ou t'es venu et inviter mon dernier date.
Yeah, I'm venu inviter mon dernier date, which was
parce que je pensais que vous pourrez je suis là quand même avec une motivation, je me dis OK, this is the day. I'm going to get the key to the city. I'm going to get the key to Sony's life, right? So
and unfortunately that did not happen.
Man.
Yeah, I invited him on a date, which was strange to him because tout date nous allé avant yo, c'est ou même qui était initié yo.
Yeah.
But this one I said what?
Mais ça est toujours right? Et ça est toujours so garçon tout est toujours, you know, invité final date, take charge.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. When I invited you out on this date and we decided to meet at the same park that we had our first date.
Yeah.
Right? And when we got there, it's interesting because something happened in between that time. Parce que qu'on conversation mene connection.
Yeah.
We had the connection, but I just felt like you weren't serious. We were not in the same page mentally.
Yeah.
You know, it's things that I wanted. I don't think you were ready to provide. So for me, that date was a date for me to kind of let you know, hey, I don't think this is going to work. Which is not what you expected. You thought it was going to be something totally different.
Yes. Sam Kadi, you're right. Parce que, connais, nèg fait you know, aller dans collège et puis nous venons mindset côté que nous pas prêt pour vraiment tant que par exemple pour une relation qui vraiment tant que pour sérieux une relation. Est-ce que vous comprenez? So parce que nous l'âge côté que j'ai tout côté. Est-ce que vous comprenez? C'est gon l'âge non y et ça fait encore longtemps grand monde toujours dit mesdames yo prend ça. Est-ce que vous comprenez? Parce que ti messieurs yo gon l'âge que nous y l'âge ça c'est explorateur nous y est-ce que vous comprenez? N'a pas explorer. Vous comprenez? We want to travel the world. We want to see things. Est-ce que vous comprenez? So nous la fin parler à fille ça là, petite demoiselle ça la fin causer et puis nous juste tant qu'on pas gagne une position qui est exacte.
Right.
Vous comprenez? So, c'est dans le moment, ça, l'aime te rencontrer avec vous. So, moi, pas vraiment connaître qui semblait objectif, moi, qui semblait faire vraiment.
Right. And
Mais
after that,
seulement, ça, moi, mon belle demoiselle, que moi remets. Est-ce que vous comprenez? T'as remets et mettre belles bijoux ça dans comme. Est-ce que vous comprenez? So, c'était dans le mindset ça qui m'était.
yeah, and I think I saw that through our conversations. I wanted more. That's not what I wanted at the time. So
Yeah.
I invited you on this date. My purpose for this date was to just said, no, this is not gonna work.
Yeah. Man.
We're not on the same page. Let's just be
I was
friends.
so mad. I was so mad. And I left. I left you at the park. I left you because you wasted my time. Right? And you asked me to come out, and I was home doing my thing. She asked me, hey, what are you doing? And I said, no, I'm not doing anything. You know?
Yeah, so meet me at the park.
Yes. When she said that, I said, man, okay, I'm coming right now. And then when I got there, you already know.
Right.
I don't have time for this.
Right. So I told I told you, hey, this is not gonna work. I don't think no member guy. So let's just be friends. You were not happy with the idea of being
I
friends.
said, say no more.
So you got up and left.
I left.
That wasn't nice.
So what happened after that?
You left. After that, you left. We stopped talking. We stopped talking.
For a long time.
I deleted your number. We were done. We stopped talking for like a year or two.
Yeah.
But we would still see each other at school.
Yes.
So, un peu de passe.
We were like enemies.
Yeah.
Let's say it like that.
Yeah, même salut, monsieur a pas salué.
Yeah.
That was not nice, Diego.
Yeah.
That was not nice.
Yeah.
I passe, m'passe, ou après dans classe ou mon dans classe moi nous ou l'autre même mon salutation bagan. Right? So I went on for like a year or two. Ou vin a fait la vie ou I don't know what you par contre ça a réglé. Moi même tout vin a vivre la vie mais par contre ça m'a réglé, and that was that. That was the end of our interaction.
Yeah.
And then one day.
Ooh, one day. Tell me about it.
You tell me about it. So one day, you randomly, we saw one of those days, we saw each other at the school again. You came and you tapped on my shoulder.
Yeah.
Right? I was sitting down on the computer. Right?
I did.
And you tap on my shoulder and you said, I'll call you later.
Of course.
Mind you, nous pas parlé pour 2 ans, so I don't have your number. I don't know if you still have my number, but what went to my head is, call me later for what?
Yeah.
Right?
Let me explain that. Ou son j'aime t'abdou que mon pat ready. L'aime te fait rencontrer, right?
Right.
Okay. So, après 2 ans, so gan pile et évolution, un pile changement qui fait. Right? So, nous vin à entrer à que maturité qui vient rentrer. Nous commençons à comprendre qui direction nous voulons aller. Est-ce que vous comprenez? Parce que après, nous finissons faire des rencontres, right? Meeting so many people. Now, nous commençons à un petit genre filter. Right? So, qui est? Et nous t'arrêtons, comme tu as dit ça, nous t'arrêtons.
Settle?
Yeah. Nous t'arrêtons, par exemple, pour settle it. Right?
Okay.
So, c'est dans le même bagage ça, tant que par exemple, jeune fille, jeune garçon qui attendent, gagne un âge qui est ouillé, ou qu'avec un monde, but that doesn't mean c'est un monde ça que ou pralier 2 years later.
Right, that's true.
So that's why m'pas dit que pour pas avec yon moun, mais you have to be careful.
And know what you want.
And know what you want. And gen bagay ki ou si ou ouve tout cœur ba moun kon ya. Et later on, ou can get hurt. So that's what happened to me when I met you. I was not ready. But now, 2 years later, moi commencé, m'ka di, vin non stage dans la vie, moi côté que moi commencé lonely. Lonely, hein, c'est parce que parfois, gen zami qui ont gagné, ils pas là. Tout temps pour vous. Vous comprenez?
Right.
So, ou commencer besoin yon moun que ou capable rele à n'importe moment. Et si ou pas feel good, l'aime dit pas feel good ou malade, moun sa ou connaît que ap là pour no matter what. Est-ce que vous comprenez ça me dit là?
Right.
So c'est comme ça moi vin non moment dans la vie, moi vin ap comprendre parler avec bon Dieu. Je commençais à parler à bon Dieu. Je commençais à dire God, I need someone. I need someone. C'est dans même époque ça et moi vinn rencontrer dans l'école là, dans côté qui était les learning comme center, right? So c'est là nous vinn rencontrer et c'est avec toute confidence ça moi vinn tap on your back. Moi dit
I'll call you later.
I will call you later.
Wow. You know what? It's interesting that you said lonely. Because I too, m'a songe là nous rencontrer, moi-même tout. I went through a season, m'a songe c'était au mois février.
Yeah.
That I remember. Puis m'a songe là ça c'était right after Saint-Valentin. Like a few days later.
Yeah.
Puis m'a songe là, m'a pas son Saint-Valentin triste, m'a son Saint-Valentin seul.
Yeah.
Right? And I started to question, I started to feel, I also was feeling the loneliness of the need to be with someone.
Yeah.
And then that's when you know, a few days later we met and you tapped my shoulder.
Yeah.
But still, when you said you were going to call me later, I didn't think nothing of it. You know, my whole thing was, call me later for what? You know, that was my idea. Because when you said, I didn't even give you my number again.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know if you still had my number or how you know, had, was that, you know, I didn't even know if you were telling the truth.
Yeah.
But
I had your number.
Okay.
I had it somewhere.
Okay.
And but you know, ça qui interesting the story ça. C'est parce que m'a demandé bon Dieu pour moi pour faire meet yon moun. Right? Yon moun qui capable m'ka comme tu as dit ça. Yon moun spécial. But they lead me to you again.
Wow.
Est-ce que vous comprenez?
That's powerful.
So, moi rencontre dans learning center dans l'école là, c'est moi pas même dans idéologie ça à côté que moi pral retourner dans connaissance pour moi sous même focus noté et l'intérêt contraire. C'est pas dans focus ça m'était. Action a juste fait. Pour moi-même, c'est juste bon Dieu qui travaille.
Right. Divine.
Bon Dieu juste connecter nous ensemble encore.
Right.
Où ça me dit là?
Right.
Quand nous venons parler dans le téléphone.
Yeah. So you did call. You called later.
I did.
I received a call. I didn't know who it was. But what was interesting with that call was it was a moment of closure.
Yeah.
Because that day you walked away.
Yes.
From the park.
Yeah.
We never got closure. So I never really got a chance to tell you, hey, because this felt like it was going to flow, you know, at first the relationship, it felt like we were going to have something going on.
C'est ça que moi vinn réaliser tant que façon moi vinn quitter dans parc là, c'est me feel like man, pas supposé faire ça. Est-ce que vous comprenez? So, c'est ça que expliqué, maturité a vient comme later. Est-ce que vous comprenez? So, et c'est la raison ça, l'aime dit ma prélo là, moi vinn tant que par exemple vle et corriger ou bien yeah, tant que par exemple présenter une excuse pour ça que t'es passé là. Vous comprenez?
Right. Yeah, I think that was the focus of that conversation. You know, was to find closure, to kind of talk about what happened. It's interesting that it took us 2 years though.
Man.
2 years.
Yeah, but
to just talk about what happened.
2 years and ou pas engagé. Pas engagé. C'est comme si bon Dieu t'a saved nous
for each other. Wow.
You see that?
Wow, interesting.
So now nous venons rencontrer encore. Nous venons retourner et n'aller dans
a couple other dates after.
Right?
After that night, that
but
conversation.
It's funny. We not on date, but c'est pas pour dire que par exemple, comme tu as dit, nous venons parler de ça qui t'est passé, yo. Nous venons dire, man, what happened? C'est comme si nous feel like, man, comme si somebody qui just passé tant que yon arc-en-ciel ou comme qui file vite. On va y dit qui file vite, right?
Right.
So moment ça just passé, but now nous venons rencontrer 2 years later. C'est là ça. Ni moi-même ni eux-mêmes, c'est comme si gon maturité, c'est comme si nous venons rencontrer at the right time.
Yes. Parce qu'après conversation ça you sounded a lot more mature and from conversating with you there was growth, you know. I feel like the answers to my questions were a lot more solid, you know, and I think that's what pushed me to go on a few other dates with you.
Yes, and ça que moi t'ai réalisé, comme si moi ou vinn l'autre monde tout, ou vinn dire, that's not the same person I met, 2 years ago, right? That's a different person. And then commencer et gon lumière, gon bagay qui vient gon lumière qui vient pour venir dans l'esprit moi qui vient dire wow, maybe that's why God lead me to you. Sans forcer, tout bagay commencer pour aller naturally. Right? Bagay flow. Nous vinn pas arrêter sans l'autre encore.
Right.
Et nous vinn par exemple vinn aller en date more often. Right?
Yeah, and we started dating not too long after that.
Parce que nous tous étaient soif l'autre. Right? Faut dire la gens lire mon cher. Nous tous étaient soif l'autre. Madame n'était seule, était lonely and I was lonely too. Nous venons rencontrer en force. Right? Nous venons rencontrer en force et somebody qui était divine.
Right. That kind of drive the relationship.
Yes.
Because I felt like at that point we both knew what we wanted, in life, and and we were able to talk about some of those things.
And we were perfect for each other.
Right. We were able to kind of even plan out some things together. But after that, so we started dating.
Yes.
Right. And then around the same year, I believe, if not a few months after that, you were graduating.
Yeah.
Right? Moving up, I'll move no lot.
Man, I had to leave.
No lot zone.
That's the sad part.
Yeah, that's the sad part.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So you graduated, and moving out even move. No lot zone, keep 4 hours away.
No lot state.
Right? Keep 4 hours away from me. So we had a long distance relationship for that time frame. It was hard.
Very.
Being away from each other for that long.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy for us to see each other.
So you were still in school.
I was still in school, but you graduated, and then you even move parce que tu voulais continuer to do. Talk about that. Tu voulais continuer to do toujours.
Yeah. Côté que moi j'étais l'école là, moi ça me voulais apprendre pas gagné vraiment
Nan zon nan.
dans zone côté m'te. So moi t'ai essayé faire recherche pour moi côté qui gagne li. L'aime garder moi ouais et l'école côté m'vle aller 4 hours away. 4 hours away là, c'est un state qui vraiment close to state côté nous t'es. So bon bagay tant que par exemple moi vle jeune capitaine de yo essayer prêter attention sur ça m'bral dire. Malgré moi I was in love with this beautiful lady, but I had to focus. Right? Which my school, man. So m'te prend ça vraiment au sérieux.
Yes.
So I was in love and I found my love, right? My heart. And then now I had to leave because of school. Right?
Right.
So moi t'es obligé à aller et moi parler avec vous, moi dire moi pour aller et pour faire et place pour pour aller étudier l'eau fini pour capable venir.
Right.
Right?
And at the time, it was just a promise, but we just did not see how it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But we just kind of put it in the air, right?
Man. Pour que ça va expliquer, faut-il expliquer comment passer ça t'est pour les dans le moment côté que moi pour aller.
Right. No, that was tough. Ou connaît
Yeah.
coup long distance relationship en pile fois gagne en pile monde comprend ça négativement. Simplement parce que gagne quelques idéologie d'elle ou bien quelques expériences l'autre monde fait déjà qui compte pas positif, right?
Yeah.
So of course logo moun ou avec li cap déplacer, everything cross your mind.
Gon question m'bral poser. I guess m'ba jam poser m'bral obligé poser li konya.
Oh Lord.
So te gen doute. So lem ta prale ou te gen doute ou pense que m'pa tap sou encore ou bien relation tap krasé. Qui ça que en l'espoir?
I think for me it was more, yes, things crossed my mind. I was still getting to know you. You know, there's still it was a lot more to learn about you.
Yeah.
Of course, things crossed my mind, but I think I found peace with it. Because not only what moved, but nous t'ai parlé des différents plans for future plans
Yes.
of what we wanted to do. So that kind of eased my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was at ease. It was hard, but I think I was at ease with it.
Yeah. Okay.
Because of the
So-
conversations that we had.
So te trust moi.
Yes, I did.
So qui ça faut te trust me?
Because of who you are. I think the personality you spoke, the way you carried yourself you were a very respectful young man.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the things that drew me to you. You were very respectful. You stick to your word. Like if you say you're gonna do something, you did a pretty good job carrying on with what you said and the promises you made. So I think I found peace. I was at peace with it. Because if you remember, we planned out things, you know, it was like, okay, you're going to move. This is what you hope to do with that and while you move. And this is how we're going to manage the relationship.
Yeah.
If you remember, we talked about how often we would see each other
Yeah.
and the sacrifices we were willing to make to see each other. So it was pretty solid.
En pile crier. En pile relais. So
You got to say that.
obligé. Faut diminuer la janvier.
Oh, yes, I did shed a few tears.
Okay.
I did.
So,
You did too.
Did I?
Yes, you did. It was hard.
Garçon va crier.
You know,
Come on. Garçon va crier.
that's not realistic. We're talking about wisdom now.
Yeah.
You have to cry sometimes.
Yeah.
You do have to cry sometimes.
Yes.
It was hard on both of us. It was really hard. But I think what kept me, like I said, for me, it was the plans. I mean, it wasn't blank. You know, we talked about how this is going to happen and how we're going to manage it.
So, okay. Après moi fin, moi move. So, où était l'école? Et puis, so, qui ça qui te vient passer après?
Yeah. So après au fin move, moi était l'école. And then probably 6 months within 6 months after you move. But you were visiting often.
Yeah.
So te vin arrive vin visiter plus que mal visiter. I think te visiter one time, but ou te toujours vini almost like every other weekend.
Te toujours nan route là depuis m gen un deux jours off. Kompren, c'est
Vin checker là ka.
c'est à checker parce que ou pas ka gen un business. Ou pas ka gen un jardin. Faut pas brouser li à checker pour voir comment mauvais temps, comment la pluie, soleil a traité.
Ouais.
C'est comme ça, t'es toujours monté.
Ouais.
Comprends? So malgré nous t'es dans longue distance, but nous t'es toujours
Ouais.
each other often.
Often enough.
Yes.
Right. And then within about 6 months after we move, we had a friend who you share birthday month with. I think birthday nous 4 jours différence.
Yeah.
Right? And then nous songe nous ta conversation côté zami ça son zami qui quitte mi nan pile pour nous, li fait pile bagay pour nous. En peu nous te décidé ou te vinn avec une idéologie côté pour nous faire fête parce que monde ça son monde peut-être pas jamais faire fête pour lui. En peu nous te décidé ensemble n'a organiser une fête pour
c'est en fait que nous t'ai annoncé pour nous capable faire l'autre bagay.
Right.
Parce que c'était fête zami, nous t'es obligé dire n'a fait fête zami.
Right, but the whole time,
yes,
you had other plans I did not know. So you had me plan my entire engagement party.
I had to, man. I had to speed up the process because I was by myself.
I know.
You know, so my beautiful lady, you know, 4 hours away. So I had to speed up the process to bring her home.
You did, because I was close to graduating. So you told me we're going to do this party for this friend. Of course, here I am, so I put this whole party together, fit flyer, invite people.
Too.
I was excited, invite people. And then the whole time I didn't know you spoke to my parents.
Yes.
I mean, you had met my parents before you moved, so the relationship was good. But then when you moved, I mean, everything was good. And then, but for this party, I did not know that I was planning let me tell y'all, I did not know I was planning my own engagement party. You hear me?
Yeah.
So I planned the whole party, and then you came down for the party.
Yes.
And then when lo vini at the party, you proposed.
Yes.
Tell us about that. You gotta tell me why you had me plan my whole engagement party. I was excited.
Because I was home. Man, the pensée was the best way. Parce que love my for the first time. So it's a lot of, thinking, trying to see.
Get it right.
Try to get it right. So, premièrement, moi fais maman connaît. Moi dis maman mais ça que parce que maman t'es là. Moi t'es obligé de dire mais ça que mes idées qui me gagnent. So mais ça que me le fait. Et puis c'est comme ça. Bague t'as acheté.
Oh God.
Right. Et puis quand il y a la même m'a try pour moi qui best time dans party. Et puis moi tant tout le monde content et puis monde a fait manger, danser, ouais, ça aussi. Puis c'est là ça moi dit mot magique là. Et puis you had no idea.
I had no idea.
Who'd you?
It was a total shock.
Yeah.
For me, like my mind wasn't
Parce que
there.
ou pas de connaître si ça t'a fait so quick.
Because you had just moved.
Yeah. Yeah. And would you?
Right.
You know, would you marry me? What did you say?
What did I say? What did I say? I think I said yes.
Of course you said yeah. That's why you're here.
That's why I'm here.
That's why you on this podcast right now with me.
Right.
Right? And so what happened after that?
after that, we started planning a wedding as soon as this happened. The wedding was planned.
Yeah.
And but I graduated, so I was planning a wedding, getting ready to graduate. I graduated, but throughout the planning, nous avons décidé que it'll be best for me to move closer to where you are. Parce que dans la zone côté nous t'es c'est plus en zone Timoun collège, en plus fois l'on fini collège, there's not much to do.
Yeah.
So nous avons décidé we want to start our lives dans une zone.
Yeah.
Côté. So we planned the wedding, and then we got married.
Yeah. Got married, and then
Yes.
And
we got married, and then I moved. I finished school, and then I moved over to where you were. It was a bigger city. It made more sense.
Now, the best part is, nous venons vivre dans yon Selkai.
Again. Well, not again.
Not again. I mean,
nobody
some. So
right. Now, we were together again. Back together again after. So our whole engagement. You know what? I just realized that because the whole time we were engaged, we were in a long distance relationship.
Yes.
That is interesting. I never look at it like that.
Yeah.
And then when we got married, I moved over. I think from the honeymoon, I just flew.
Yeah. So now, the best part is, same bed, same house, right? So now,
keep it cultural, Diego.
Okay. All right. That's it.
Right.
Okay.
Right, this is who we are. Right. Well, what happened after that? I mean, we got married, started living together.
We got married, and then I think 1 year later. So they toujours dit comme ça, man. Let's enjoy this marriage, man. Let's enjoy this marriage. So,
right. And that's an advice for any young couple that is.
Tell them about
it's
it.
Newlyweds, just prends temps, enjoy mariage. Parce que me songe, when I was planning the wedding, mon professeur l'école là, me pral graduer, puis il dit comme ça, l'école, mon professeur me connaît ma planifier mariage, right? Et puis me songe mon professeur qui dit conseil li ta ban moi, l'aime fin marier, enjoy mariage, mais don't try to have any kids right after, right? But il dit ça c'est juste un conseil moins qu'about. That doesn't mean you have to follow it. And I think that was one of the best advice. I ended up understanding that a little bit later. But si on jeune couple ou fait marier, just pas quitter pressure société à for do things so fast.
Yeah.
Right? Take your time. Be on your own journey. Get to know each other. Travel. Because things changes when you have children.
Say that again?
Travel. Yes, because when you have children, it becomes a lot of responsibilities.
Yes.
And it's things that you're going to want to do, but you're going to be on their schedule.
Nous pouvons faire camper là parce que it's a lot to say, right? Senti que il y a d'autres bagages que nous capables réserver pour next episode.
Right.
Parce que, comment pour ça me dit ça? Nous pouvons venir avec un autre épisode côté que nous capables de parler plus, nous ca dire nous combien Timon et que nous gagnons. Et puis as nous les wed, nous couple et mais comment quelques bagages pour faire qui important,
right, very.
Ou bientôt si une relation qu'on y a, right, et on va penser pour entrer dans ça qui est le mariage là. So nous avons quelques conseils pour
right.
Parce que il y a des bagages nous wish qu'on va faire.
Right. And c'est toujours bon tout pour prendre conseil dans même monde qui fait expérience là déjà. Parce que ça vient faire process là puis coûte pour juste tendre ou bien appliquer ça qui bon pour ou ça qui pas bon tout. Don't use them.
Yeah, puis des fois nous excited. Right. Nous excited pour nous aller marier.
Right.
Parce que nous pas même prêter attention.
That's true.
Et gen bagay tout si nous faisons from the start and parcours la better.
That's true.
So it's like fait que n'a vini avec quelques conseils.
Right.
Et quelques bagailles tout pour nous focus on.
Right. And that too bring us to what we plan on talking about in the next episode, right? The next episode is going to be talking about change, right? We're going to be talking to you about some of the changes that we went through and how change can affect your life. Because it's a couple of things you cannot control in life. It's time and change.
Yes.
Because there are things that happens around your life that you cannot change. You just have to accept.
Yes.
But there are ways that you can prepare for those changes. So that's what we're going to bring you the next episode so we could tell you more about ourselves, right? And some of the changes we've had to deal with and adjust to throughout this marriage. And it's been about 11 years now. We've been at this thing almost 11 years.
Almost 11 years.
Right.
So that's why we have a lot to say, guys. We have a lot to say.
Yes.
Please come back. Gen bagay ke nou pral share avec vous. We're gonna do our best,
right,
to see if we can help you avoid some mistakes.
Right. And especially if you come from a background where you don't have a lot of examples, right? You don't have a lot of people that you could look up to and see, people that have done this that you can go to, right? To come here, we'll talk to you.
This is it.
This is it, right?
We're gonna try to be your mentor,
right, and your guide,
your GPS, everything,
right, definitely.
So keep coming back. We're gonna try to help you,
right?
I'm telling you,
right,
promise,
right. And so, like always, we want to leave you with something positive in every episode, right? So we want to leave you with this thought today. You want me to go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
You got some?
Well, this week I want you to think about what you want. What you want.
Yes.
I think this is one of the things that we go back and forth about. For the young people, for people that even it doesn't matter how old you are, but sometimes it doesn't matter where you are in life. You have to sit back and say, what do I want?
Yeah.
And what do I want doesn't necessarily apply to anything.
Yes.
It could be life. It could be career. It could be family. It could be health.
Yes.
Just what do you want?
Yeah.
Ask yourself that this week. Comment below. Let us know. Answer this question to yourself.
I got something to say.
Want? Go ahead.
Don't force anything. If it's not working, it's just not working.
It's not working. That's true.
Okay? If it's not working, it's just not working. Don't force it.
Right.
Because you have to listen to your heart.
Right.
Listen to your heart.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
that's what I got.
Right. Definitely. Well, thank you for tuning in to our story. We enjoy sharing our lives with you. We have so much more to share with you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, right? And listen to this podcast everywhere podcast is available.
Yes.
We hope to see you next week in the next episode.
Yes. We want your support.
Definitely.
Please share. Tell somebody about this podcast. Share it with your family, your friends, so that's how you can help us.
Right.
And you can support this channel.
Right. And just like that, this is a wrap for today's episode. We'll see you next time in the next episode.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.